Next is from Jeff Yapunchich. Subject is Goldberg and Bret Hart question. Hey,
Long
K100.
time listener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just want to get your take on this mashup clip with Goldberg and Bret Hart about the head kick. It's less than a minute. Thanks. All right, pull it up, Joe. Thank you for giving us a video that's less than 1 minute, too.
Hang on. TikTok. All right. See it?
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
And I would have loved more than anything to have not kicked Bret Hart in the head, and what happened.
Bill Goldberg, who kicked me in the head, never even thought about it. 8 months later, went over to Saudi Arabia, got paid $3 million for a 5 minutes wrestling match, and put all that money in his pocket. We never once thought about costing me $16 million when he kicked me in the head.
Hey, I'm really sorry, man, but if I really wanted to hurt the guy, he would never have gotten up. Okay, and I'm no joke. He would have gotten up.
I regret that I got injured by a guy that couldn't wrestle and has no business of being in a Hall of Fame.
Goldberg, to me, was one of the most unprofessional wrestlers there ever was in the business. I mean, for Bill Goldberg to be in the Hall of Fame, he hurt everybody he worked with. You might as well wrestle a real gorilla. He was the most dangerous guy to work with.
I've heard your whining. I've heard all the crap on the TV shows. I've heard the shoot interviews, and I've heard just about enough.
Well, Goldberg never hurt me. So, I mean, Goldberg was short and, like wrestling him was just a different experience. He hit you with a lot of big stuff, but it was quick. It wasn't like a grueling, 10 minutes of this hit you with this. He had 3 or 4 big moves. He hit all of them and he pinned you. I don't really, like his strikes didn't really hurt. He did the forearms like to the head, but he didn't. I don't believe he ever hurt anybody with the forearms.
Well, I remember
who did he hurt?
He speared Laparca and that shredded his knee all. And then he dropped Ming and Brian Knobbs on their head before. But I don't know if that was. But what about you, Conan? Did you ever wrestle and Goldberg have any problems, or he messed up?
Well, how could you? The match was 30 seconds long. I mean, it ain't like he did a whole bunch to me, but but he never hurt me. But he was a little bit clumsy because he was new and he hadn't really been trained, and he had a great aura, and they were going to take advantage of it. Much like when I started, I had a great aura about me. I was clumsy, I didn't know what the I was doing, so I know I know a little bit what Goldberg's going through, and probably obviously didn't do it on purpose, but Bret's probably because he's thinking, look at this guy, I wasn't even trained in wrestling, and reckless hurt me, but the only thing that I would have issue with, if it is true, if he said 8 months, I guess, what did he say by the 8 months? That it took him 8 months to tell him how you doing or what?
No, they mashed up stories there. He said he injured me here, and then they cut, and then he said 8 months later he was here. It was just a bad cut. That's
okay.
Yeah.
So one guy's mad that he can't do what he loves, and that the guy that was never trained and probably didn't love it like him is the guy that hurt him.
Right.
But you need to let go, bro, because it will consume you.
Yeah. Sounds like it has,
Yeah. Which is unfortunate because I think we both like Bret.
Yeah, I do too. Next one's from King Weasel, subject AAA content. Hey, K100 crew, as always, thank you for all you do. Question this week's for Conan. I love watching AAA content, but aside from YouTube, I don't really know where I can find content to watch regularly and keep up with the current storylines. Any help with this? Also, is there a specific place I can shop for shirts and masks? Thanks again. That's Fabian Medina from Palm Bay, Florida.
Yeah, the 2 places for shirts and masks and stuff like that would be Lucha Libre AAA on Twitter, and also Mass Republic with my boy Kevin, Hey Girlfriend, Kleinrock, and Ruben Police Scanner Zamora. And they can also tell you exactly where to get all the AAA content. I think it's on YouTube. That's the only place you can find it on right now. Soon there will be a bigger distribution. Cannot get into details.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Next is from
Sergio Morales. Okay.
You got it right here.
Yes.
Next is from Sergio Morales, subject is based. Miss Inferno, you're a legend. You keep hurting everybody's feelings with the facts. You're my second favorite babyface. First is Trump, third is Cody. Thanks for keeping it 100, Mr. K-Dog. My mama loves you. She had your AAA figure. Thank you for the kind words, Sergio, but you're suspended for a week because you didn't ask a question.
That's true.
I want to bring up something too, though. You know, people keep whenever people try to insult me, the marks, they
Right.
keep putting up the Cody tweet. Okay,
Yep.
that tweet was in 2018.
Right.
Okay, I don't
Yeah.
think you people realize. In 2018, I was criticizing Cody because he was bragging about busting himself open, working with all these elite guys and everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He then went on a year later to start AEW with those guys. And dude, like a couple years in, he bailed. Which you could argue I was right. You know, you guys, because my whole thing was you guys are, everybody's wrestling for Meltzer stars back then. And these guys are beating each other up. Cody went to go work in AEW and probably realized that that's what these guys are doing here. And he got out of there. I could argue that I was eventually like that tweet is actually like, should be, what do you call it?
Disinformation.
Put to pasture because it doesn't apply anymore. You know, because he quit.
Yeah, but
AEW.
that doesn't matter. What matters is trying to. That's all that matters.
Right.
Just back with them, bro. You're one of the best at it. I mean,
And you know
you're
what?
gonna trigger that. You're gonna trigger them more than they could ever trigger you. But sometimes you don't. You just take one shot and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I didn't think of?
I like the constant barrage. Yeah.
Right.
I didn't realize this at the time, but so that tweet, like you said, was in early 2018. But then where were we a few months later in 2018? We were at StarCast. Disco was at StarCast. If there was any actual problem, Cody didn't have a problem saying he didn't want certain people on StarCast, and you weren't one of them. So,
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, I don't think, and I probably think he does respect you to a certain point, but that's their fan base, bro, and they want to get over with them. And you, Russo, and Cornette, I've always said, I would love for Tony, but you know he'll never, ever do it, right? But I would love for you, Russo, Bischoff, or Cornette to show up that show. Even better, the Four Horsemen style. Bro, that place would go absolutely nuts.
Next is some DC Big Oso Ya. The subject is second generation wrestlers. Disco and Conan, big fan of your work over the decades. The question is, what do you think of Dominik Mysterio's progress compared to Hooks over at AEW? I believe Hooks is being held back by working for AEW. What say you? Well, Hook is just undersized. Like he's not. Cody, you've met Hook in real life, right?
Right.
How
He's
small
very
is he?
okay. When I first met Hook, this is exactly what I told him. First of all, and I have to do this because it's important. The guy's super chill, zero ego, very cool kid. Okay.
Right.
But when I saw him, this is exactly what I told him. I go, bro, you look like you're 15 years old. Incredible. That's what he looked like to me, like a teenager. How old is he, Joe?
Hook, he's I think he's 22 or 23, but let me confirm.
Bro, he looked no older
he's
than
24.
15.
Yeah, it's 24.
He looked no older than a 15, 16-year-old. You know, he looked like a boy kind of, you know.
Right. Next is from Dale Fortunio, and subject is Quake Shark. What's up, gang? Been seeing a lot of footage dug up about the oddities lately. I know people generally have some good things to say about working with ICP, but some younger fans don't realize that John Tenta was placed in faction as a Cartman doll-hugging big man. I'd say it was a somewhat fall from grace, but then again, he was a shark in the Dungeon of Doom. I know that him and Arn had some bad heat after Nitro one time, but in your overall opinion of John Tenta, dude seemed to be a legit awesome guy. Bonus question. Better holiday drink, spiced eggnog or coquito? Happy holidays to you all. Let's answer the bonus question first. The eggnog or coquito?
Okay, let me give you my top three. Okay, number one, this disco also likes rompope.
Rompope.
Okay, that's number one. Number two, coquito. Okay. Number three.
What is coquito?
That's like the That's like the Puerto Rican version, you know, with rum and eggnog and, you know, like the Puerto Rican version of eggnog. Bro, it's delicious. And they hand out these little bottles that you can take home. This wrestler called, for all my Puerto Rican fans out there, Chiqui Star used to bring bottles all the time into the dressing room during the holidays and give them to me. But as far as the shark, or what was his name? Tenta?
Tenta, yeah.
Tenta, yeah. Earthquake.
Were you around him, Disco?
Yeah, and Joe, look this up. I had no clue about Arn and him.
I've never
him
heard
and
that
Arn
either.
had heat. I've
Okay,
never
let me
heard
just. Well, you're looking for it, Joe.
Yeah.
I first met him in WWE. What was his name there? He was like a shark or something. Was he the shark? What was he?
In WCW?
No,
He was,
WWE. Was he
Oh,
Earthquake?
Earthquake,
Earthquake, yeah.
and then Golga.
Gold.
Did he do? Was he the one that used to do the bounce around the guy before he
Yes.
beat him?
Yes,
And then
yeah.
would do like a 5 count, bro. I love that
It was
gimmick.
the best because it was an earthquake. Like
Yeah,
the ground
right.
is shaking. That's the gift.
What a great idea, right?
Right.
That
And then-
that's what we grew up with. I like
Right,
that. You
right,
know?
yeah,
And
Yeah.
then he would
Yeah.
hit the guy with the flash and get the 3
Right.
count, and then he would hit him again because it was the aftershocks.
Right.
So that
Okay,
was, that
so
was
let me
great too,
just
you know?
say that two of the biggest humans that I've ever seen in my life, just standing next to each other, was Earthquake and Tugboat. When it was the land of the giants, when everybody there was huge, Road
Oh, yeah.
Warriors, you know,
Natural disasters.
that's when I was there, right? And
Yeah.
then I met him in WCW. I always thought he was a super cool, chill guy.
Right.
That's what I remember of him.
Yeah, me too. But you got anything about the Tenta Arn heat?
Who went over?
Well, okay, so you remember a few weeks ago when we talked about that Piper segment on Nitro where he brought in the guys to try out to
Right.
be
Yeah.
on his.
Yeah.
So Tenta was the last guy that came out. And the idea was going to be that it was going to be Piper, Tenta, and Craig O'Malley and another guy. I don't know.
Right.
But I guess Arn on the segment, and then they changed the story to Piper's going to have the Horsemen on his team instead. And I guess it's a long story that I'm reading, but from what I see, Tenta had heat with Arn for out of the pay-per-view match. You know, in his
I could see that.
Let me be
one of the
brutally
boys,
honest.
Arn Anderson.
I was in the room with
Right.
Hogan, Nash. I think Savage was in there and stuff. There's a TV and like sofa on the left hand side, a couple chairs here, and Hogan. I specifically remember this. Hogan's to my right. Nash is here where I'm sitting here, and then I think Macho and stuff were over there. Then they're all drinking wine. Okay, Brad, back in those days, if the boys would drink during the shows, like beer, wine, They had wine. We're watching the segment. The segment was so bad, Hogan just like his glass of wine, he just like his hand went limp and the wine just spilled all over the floor. Like we couldn't believe. Everybody was looking at each other like going like that was horrible. Okay, and then they go like, "How are we going to save this?" Like they're in there. That's what they're all talking about. It's everything. Hogan had a fantastic line. So it was Piper, like the segment was Roddy Piper was bringing these guys in. So Hogan went out there's like, we just had Roddy Piper's pickled peppers out here coming to call the guys. All the guys to Roddy Piper's pickled peppers. Yeah. So, but bro, everybody, Bischoff, everybody thought was just like that was one of the worst segments that we ever had.
And bro, want to hear the worst part, Joe? It got a big rating.
Yeah.
Yep. It did.
Yeah, because you couldn't unsee it. It was like a train wreck.
Yeah,
you know
that's what Scott Hall said because he was burying it.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I go, "Did you see the rating? Hey, this proves that people watch anything." Yeah.
Here's where it came from. Actually, now that I got to the end of this, Stevie Ray's podcast. Okay, Stevie Ray said, "Tenta." He remembered Tenta as a jovial fellow who he'd only seen in a bad mood once, but it was backstage at the March 10th, 97 Nitro. Not long after a promo involving Team Piper and the Horsemen, Tenta was livid backstage, swearing up a storm and tearing apart the trailer he was sharing with Harlem. He claiming he was not clued in on the fact that he was getting bumped from the uncensored match. And then also because he heard Arn Anderson call him an amateur in the ring. So,
wow.
Amateur.
Pretty weird because he was a professional 100%.
Well, but in Arn's defense, it's like, when they changed and put the Horsemen on the team with Piper, Arn got on the mic and said, "This is a business for professionals and not amateurs." And he's talking about the guys Piper had.
Right. Yeah. Craig O'Malley was part of the segment.
John was over there. So, yeah.
I don't remember that. So even the boys were going out there and burying the segment.
Yep.
Bro, that's how bad it was that Arn Anderson went out and Hogan went out and they both buried it. And they weren't even in the same clique.
Right.
And that's tremendous. How tremendous is that? I've never thought of that. Yeah.
Real
All
quick,
right,
I
so-
just wanted to say about Tenta though, because he said, was it a step down when he worked with ICP and WWE? And I would say no, because he came out and he was Golga with a mask. He had a Cartman doll. He got great reactions, and he was doing his thing, and he was making money, and it was the most popular time in
Bro,
wrestling.
I
you know?
love that gimmick. And I
Yeah.
love the film clip of the movie Freaks that they played right before it. 'Cause
Right.
I've seen that movie a couple times. Yeah.
It's a well-produced gimmick, actually.
Yes,
You
it
know,
was.
the attic, doing the
Yeah,
weirdos.
yeah, yeah,
You know?
right,
Yes.
right.
Ask
So,
Russo about that one.
Luna Vachon was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the big
Next is
Kurgan guy, remember him?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course you do. Yeah, yeah.